Welcome to ADHD Go. When people think about ADHD, they're really thinking about the behaviors that they associate with ADHD, specifically behaviors that they deem to be problematic. These problematic behaviors are caused by ADHD symptoms. Let's take a look at a few examples. People with ADHD struggle with organizing and activating for tasks, gathering the resources and overcoming inertia to actually start the work. This can lead to the perception that people with ADHD are lazy, when in fact, the reason we're not organizing and activating for tasks has more to do with the way our brain functions. We want to accomplish things, but something about our condition is getting in the way. It's one of the symptoms of ADHD. People with ADHD also struggle with sustaining and shifting focus, consciously regulating self-control, managing emotional responses, coding and accessing learned information, monitoring and guiding our actions, managing time, attending to details, and remembering things we were told. These struggles are challenging enough, but they also form the basis of many harmful myths about ADHD, like we're lazy, unintelligent, or unreliable. If you struggle with these symptoms frequently and they impact your life, then you might be atypical. I use the word atypical as a fairly broad label. It's much like neurodivergent. Its opposite is neurotypical, or NT as it's often written. Neurotypicals also suffer from many of the same problems we've just discussed, but much less severely and less frequently than atypicals. I focus specifically on atypicals with ADHD, but there are many conditions that fall along the atypical or neurodivergent spectrum. Regardless of your unique condition, however, the ADHD Go strategies are universally applicable even for neurotypicals. Being an atypical is not a blessing and it's not a curse. It's just a condition, a unique characteristic of the way you think, similar to your height or your eye color. Don't feel as though this defines your entire identity, but it is a part of your identity, a big part that needs to be recognized. Without that recognition, we unconsciously follow patterns of behavior that might not serve us well. ADHD needs to be something that you navigate with. It needs to be adapted to, and that requires awareness. I have ADHD is a neutral statement. It's just a condition, and everyone has a condition. The idea of a neurotypical person is actually kind of absurd. It's a unicorn, like a plastic brain that medical students study on a shelf. No one has that brain. Everyone has a condition, everyone is different, and everyone needs to work on treating their condition, improving their lives. Luckily, ADHD is a common enough condition that we actually have a name for this cluster of symptoms. We understand things about the way that atypicals think. So understanding these things makes it easier to understand ourselves and our behavior, then get more of what we want and what fulfills us. So let's talk a little bit more about the definition of ADHD in the next video.